Mustang putback by Javius Walker.
And welcome to Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. They are in the traditional white on defense. State powerhouse Dr. Phillips.
Caden White puts in the Panther layup.
Ups the lead to 3-2. And thanks for your patience. We had some technical difficulty. Again, Dr. Phillips on defense in the dark jerseys. Up 3-2, 5.5 remaining in the first quarter. Stepping in front of that pass was Jones, and DP goes to work in the transition. Running gun style. That's
Elijah
what
Green is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two for the Panthers. The Mustang foul is called against number 3, Juju Johnson. That's his first personal foul, the team's second.
So DP, Dr. Phillips, known for their running gun style. Of course, the varsity team is the defending Class 7A state champion. Elijah Green at the line. He That was Jones unable to drop the tray, and so Wekiva with an opportunity to take the lead from the left corner. Too much heat from Preston, and we come back the other way. Oh, the nice bounce pass, but not quite enough bounce. Goes out of bounds off of Elijah Green. So the location was great and nice speed, but not quite enough height on that ball for Green to corral it while in motion. And Wekiva now with an opportunity to take the lead for a second time. This is Johnson. Swings it up top to Baker. Baker drives that left lane, drops it off to Walker, and he gets stripped, and we come back the other way. White from the right side tries to go bank, no withdrawal, and doing the Windex work is Danke. Hands off to Johnson, the long outlet pass, attempting to get it over to Baker, but good defensive work by Jones, anticipating the pass. So Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, thank you again for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon. This junior varsity action. The swing down low along the baseline, trying to attack, but again, Jones getting in the way and forcing a pass. And a foul.
Foul is called against number 11, Darwin Herfano. That's his first personal foul, the team's second.
Hey, Mark, these are the Lake Buena Vista. Wekiva with possession, 3.5 remaining, and swiping the ball is White, and before he can get on his horse, traveling. So Dr. Phillips comes in at 1-0, Wekiva 2-0. Again, this is junior varsity action. And we are tied at 4-4, 3:17 remaining in the first quarter. Coming into the game, is Solomon Georges, and he'll take the point guard duties. Hands off to Simon, right wing extended. Down along the baseline. Oh, the nice bunny pass into Longchamp, who goes withdrawal. And Wekiva, first lead of the game, 6-4. Dr. Phillips looking for the answer from the right wing. No dice, clearing the boards is Dan Key. Can't hold on, though. We come back the other way. And Green unable to drop the deuce. Tried to go Windex. Georges leading the charge. Nice interior pass, but good defense by Dr. Phillips. But rounding around
Walker picks up the Mustang basket.
So Javarius Walker unable to get the shot off when he initially got the ball, but readjusted and goes withdrawal. And Wekiva with the 8-4 lead. And drain the rain.
3 for Caden White.
So White answers, and that will cut the lead to 8-7. Little over 2 minutes in the first quarter. Interception by Jones, blocked at the other end. Georges picks up the loose ball, or at least he did momentarily. Scramble out half court. DP comes up with it. Jones, the other end, attacks and draws the foul.
Foul is called against Mustangs, number 15, Emmanuel Longchamp. That's his first personal foul, the team's third. That sends the Panthers to the line. Number 11, Kalel Jones, shooting 2.
And so Wekiva had scored 6 points in a row before that tray, which cut the lead to 8-7. And now KJ Jones at the line. Did have an opportunity to give Dr. Phillips the lead. Now he'll be looking to tie the score. Second free throw. This one's true. And we are tied at 8-8. Fourth tie of this first quarter. We've had 2 lead changes as well. This is action, JV action from Mustang Arena, home of Wekiva. Johnson trying to negotiate the strong defense. He'll catch a break and pick up that loose ball, but
traveling
defense.
Panthers ball.
So, Mark, we talk about this often. This is junior varsity action, and it's not always the smoothest. A lot of turnovers in succession.
Yeah, particularly this early in the season. You keep in mind, you heard earlier, I think each of these teams has played either 2 or 3 games.
They play 3 games combined.
Anderson Culver traveling. Mustang ball. Checking into the game for Dr. Phillips. Number 22, Tyler Timberlake. And so this is very early season for JV. Of course, you have to remember that, particularly with men's basketball, JV does not participate in the preseason classic, nor do they often participate in any games in the first week, because the first week of the season is a holiday week, which is usually filled with tournaments. 5 seconds closely guarded, Panthers ball. And so the JV season does generally not start until the week after Thanksgiving. So this is only the second week that these two teams have been playing together, and for many of them it is their first time on a high school basketball court. So you see those early season jitters, but you also see some promise as we get a foul called against Mustangs. Number 3, Juju Johnson, his second and the team's 4th. That sends Caden White to the line, shooting 2 for the Panthers.
And we are tied at 8-8. Caden White, who, as you just heard Mark announce, is at the free throw line. He has 5 of those 8 points. And make that 6, and now DP goes back into the lead with 1 minute, 4 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Stick around after the JV game. We will have varsity. Of course, that's always your main event. The Dr. Phillips varsity team, the defending Class 7A state champions.
Held ball, possession, Panthers.
Wekiva, on the other hand, looking to continue to improve. 2 seasons ago, they won only 3 games. Last season, they won 11, and also took a district championship tournament victory as well. And about 100 fans in attendance for this JV game. The inbound pass to White, who drains the rain.
Caden White on the inbound from London Butler for 3.
So the 3 ball drops, Dr. Phillips up 12-8, and now their full court defense causing a turnover at the other end. Going withdrawal is White.
Caden White on the stolen layup.
So White now up to 9 points. He scored 5 consecutive. And at the other end, no dice for Baker, but doing Windex work.
Second chance basket for Javius Walker.
Cuts the lead to 14-10, 20 seconds before the end of the first quarter. At the top, now on the left wing, that's McDonald in.
Traveling. Mustangs ball.
So Caden White, the leading scorer for Dr. Phillips. He has 11 points. Leading the Mustangs is Javius Walker. Last shot for opportunity for Wekiva to get that last shot. But again, they're going against a full court press by DP. They do a nice job of breaking it. Splitting the D and drawing the foul is Baker.
Kevin Baker fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul is called against Panthers, number 22, Tyler Timberlake. That's his first and the team's third.
So 3.3 seconds remaining with Baker at the line looking for his first points of the game. And he will continue to be looking for those first points. 14-10. Excellent job by Baker splitting that tough Dr. Phillips defense, but needs to convert those free throws. Baker drops the second, cuts the lead to 14-11, and we got a substitution. George is coming in.
Returning to the game for the Mustangs, number 1, Solomon Georges.
And George is coming in to cause some defensive pressure in the backcourt, and it works as the turnover.
That takes us to the end of the first period, and after an early Mustang lead, the Panthers have taken a 3-point advantage, but the Mustangs have kept it from getting more than a possession away at the end of the first period. 14-11 is your score at the end of the opening 8 minutes. Back with more from Mustang Arena with the JV contest right after the break. The Panthers have the opening possession of the second period. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, joined once again by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, and ready to take you through what has been kind of a back-and-forth contest. Mustangs had a strong start. Then the Panthers got some momentum midway through the first quarter. Mustangs started to feel their mojo again toward the end of the first period, and it brought it back to a 3-point ball game as we get into the second 8 minutes. But 3-point basket on the pass to open up second quarter scoring.
Yeah, 4 ties and 2 lead changes in that first quarter. And now with the tray, the largest lead for the Panthers. And some good defense. Wekiva did need to come up with a stop. You don't want DP to get a couple of possessions. They can a couple of scores can very easily turn into a 10-12 point run.
Taken away by Green, and it is Green on the pass to McDonald for a stolen Panther layup.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, Mark. 7 consecutive points now for the Panthers. Wekiva needing to stem the tide. A 19-11 score now.
Got a little personnel change up on the Mustangs side, just about a minute in here. And to your point, Neil, the Panthers have taken away 2 possessions worth of points since this quarter has opened, and we are going to get a blocking foul. No, we're not either. Traveling, Mustangs ball.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that Dr. Phillips has scored 7 consecutive points. It's the fact that Wekiva is turning the ball over, which means they're not getting an opportunity to create a field goal attempt.
So Wekiva catches a break there. They did commit a blocking foul, but the other official ruled that the Panthers had traveled first, and so that blocking foul doesn't count. It is a turnover, and nice work there by Damian getting in the way of that pass, but it stays with the Mustangs.
And DP, Caden White, the leading scorer, is taking a breather right now, so see if Wekiva can make some inroads. And
McDonald smacks that into Georges' face. Georges had never actually come in. He was still standing out of bounds, and so that'll count as a turnover against him. And so now DP has an opportunity to get their lead up to 10 or 11 on this possession.
DP with the ball extended right and just lost it was McDonald.
Baker was there to make the steal, and he takes it up himself and gets his dribble taken right out from under him by Shug McDonald. We go the other way. McDonald coast to coast. Not going to go, but Shug McDonald draws the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Panthers. Foul called against Mustangs. Number 4, Aaron Preston, his first and the team's 5th. So the tide turned several times in a matter of seconds there.
And again, this is junior varsity action, and you see a lot of not necessarily turnovers in the sense of interceptions or the ball being stolen, but just not always having a firm grasp on the ball. Junior varsity, as Mark mentioned, both these teams have played only 3 games. They don't get into action until the second week. So not only do they have not got a lot of experience as we go baseline, the push, and a foul, but also not a lot of opportunity to work together against a live opponent.
Foul is called against Damian. That's his first, the team's 4th.
And Georges will inbound the ball. Wanted to go to Johnson, instead goes to Baker.
Juju Johnson just coming into the game there.
Baker gets the loose ball, tries to go with the finger roll, no dice, and a lot of hands underneath that basket. Finally pulled down by number 24, and we come back the other way along the baseline and float
Butler
the deuce.
to Damian for 2.
And that'll up the lead to 21-11. And speaking of just coming in, that's DeJohn Joyner, who drives the lane and goes withdrawal.
DJ Joyner picks up 2 for the Mustangs.
21-13 lead for Dr. Phillips.
It's worth noting those are the first 2 points of the quarter for Wekiva, as DP had opened up a 7-0 lead, 7-0 run, I should say, to take out the second period. And so now Mustangs finally on the board.
And Johnson being dogged by
McDonald there at half court, and now taken away by Damian, trying to get it all the way himself, and he does. Damian steals 2 on the layup.
Lead back up to 10, 23-13. And you're seeing firsthand, of course, Dr. Phillips, the varsity team, a state powerhouse, perennial state powerhouse. They are the defending state champions. They've made multiple trips to the state Final Four and the championship final.
Foul called against number 20, London Butler, his first, the team's 5th. Get some personnel changes in on both sides here.
And again, you can see through what the JV team is doing that they are a perennial state championship contender because they have what I call the line of succession. You know, you developed your freshmen and your JV players so that when the seniors graduate from the varsity team, they can then step in. And you don't have any drop in quality.
Panthers take the ball in from their own baseline, and a little bobble happening over there just past half court. We get it all the way to the baseline and pick up a foul. This will be the last freebie. Mustang foul called against Juju Johnson on the push. That's his 3rd personal foul, the team's 6th. So that means that the Panthers will enjoy bonus for the rest of the first half.
And Panthers will inbound it, looking up that 10-point lead. Driving to the right is McDonald, kicks off to Green, unable to drop the tray, and loose ball. And Dr. Phillips, I'd say about 2 out of every 3 of those loose balls they're coming up with.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 4, Aaron Preston, his second personal foul, the team's 7th. That puts the Panthers into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1 for Dr. Phillips is number 20, London Butler.
And as you just heard Mark say, the Panthers, Dr. Phillips, will be shooting bonus the rest of the way. Of course, in high school basketball, it's 1-on-1 between 7 and 9 free throws. It's double bonus 10 and after. So 4.5 minutes before halftime. Of course, Mark, that's the other voice you hear, is our public address announcer at Mustang Arena. And so Butler drops both free throws.
Emmanuel Longchamp returns to the game for Wekiva.
And the lead is now 25-13, the largest of the game for the Panthers. Simon takes the inbound pass. And tide really started to turn, Mark, towards the end of that first quarter as we get the turnover.
Traveling, Panthers ball.
When DP went to a full court press.
Yeah, they started to turn that heat up, and particularly coming back from the first quarter, it's really been all DP these last 4 minutes as they are currently riding an 11-2 run.
And now a chance up that the baseline drive, the pass, but the travel before the pass.
Yeah, that was Butler there. Called for traveling, Mustangs ball.
So Wekiva, at least on that possession, answering TB's tough-nosed defense. And Georges will bring the ball up to Simon on the left wing, back to Georges. The two-man game on the right wing, now going low along that baseline. And out of bounds, Joyner.
Out of bounds, Panthers ball. So just when the Mustangs start to get something going there.
And now the Mustangs are going to a full court press. DP patient and poised, breaks it.
Bounce pass gets picked up by Georges in the key. He's going to try to make something happen in transition, but he's going to try too hard. Stripped by Butler. Now the Panthers in transition going the other way. Layup doesn't fall for Jones, but White fouled on the putback attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Mustangs number 1. Salomon Georges, that's his first personal foul, the team's 8th.
3.5 before halftime. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, along with the broadcast production department here at Wekiva, headed up by Keith Dickerson. Happy to bring you today's broadcast. And rims in and out.
Well, I wanted to.
Loose ball picked up by the Panthers. Well, not exactly.
Yeah,
it looked like they had it. Mustangs will come back the other way. And drawing the foul is Walker, tacking and slashing and dashing through the lane. A 26-13 lead opened up by the Panthers.
Foul called against number 32, Bentley Jean. That's his first personal foul, the team's 6th. That was on the floor. Mustangs ball at the opposing baseline.
3:23 before halftime. Ball will be inbounded by Longchamp. And possession will remain with Wekiva.
Yeah, Caden White and A.J. Smith double teaming the inbound there.
So DP opened up with man-to-man half court. They then went about a minute before the end of the first quarter to a full court press.
Georges throws a toss-up, and it's ultimately pulled away, and stolen dunk by Kalel Jones. Yeah, that was 2 inbounds in a row by Georges that were ill-advised. The first one was a bad bounce pass. The second was a bad toss-up. And now a little bit better for the Mustangs, disrupting the momentum from Joyner, but still going to be Panthers ball.
So 28-13 lead. And again, the turning point was when Dr. Phillips went to that full court press. Before that, 4 ties and 2 lead changes. Since then, it's been all DP. Ball rattles off, rims off. Some high wire action by both sides. But ball will go to Wekiva.
Should be noted that thanks to that most recent DP foul, now both teams are in bonus for the remainder of the half. Foul is called against Panthers, number 32, Bentley Jean, his second personal foul. The team's seventh, that puts the Mustangs into bonus.
And we got stoppage now.
At the line, shooting 1-1 for Wekiva is number 10, DJ Joyner.
The refs directing
So
traffic.
strike that, Emmanuel Longchamp will be at the line. He didn't seem to know that he was the one fouled.
Yeah, again, the refs directing traffic. We had some personnel changes as well as trying to figure out who's going to the line. Longchamp with 2 points tonight. Again, junior varsity action from Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. And Longchamp getting his own rebound. Some Windex work by Wekiva, but unable to get a decent-looking shot. 3 shots all off bounds, come back the other way, and all kinds of contact as White went high for the shot.
Longchamp is called on his second personal foul, the team's 9th. At the line, shooting 2 for the Panthers, Caden White. So one more before we get to double bonus, but doesn't matter because White was going up on that one anyway, so it's going to be 2 shots for him. You're going to get called for that every time. You can see that from a satellite as we get some personnel changes here. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 0, Tyler Danke. Second one finds the mark, and he's up to 14 points for Caden White as the team's leading scorer. And we're going to pause here just before the ball is inbounded. Oh, that is an inbounding violation. Panthers ball. So another unforced error there. The Mustangs certainly have suffered plenty of forced steals, but they also have suffered from their own hand as we get a foul called against Panthers number 11, Kalel Jones. That's his second personal foul, the team's 8th. The Mustangs continue into bonus, and we'll see if one of them remembers which one was fouled. And he does. At the line, shooting 1-1, number 23, Javius Walker.
And Walker will go to the line with 8 points, so leading scorer for the Mustangs for Wekiva. And that's going to be out of bounds. When the ball rolls over the rim like that, that is an out of bounds.
Traveling. Mustangs ball. 2.5 to go here in the second quarter. Timeout Mustangs. 30-second timeout requested by Wekiva. So, Coach Hardy will talk things over with the team, and we'll be back with the last 2.5 minutes of the first half here at Mustang Arena. JV basketball action. Panthers up 30-13. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the second quarter, and it has been all DP since we came back from the first quarter. Wekiva had it down to a one-possession ball game.
Actually, Wekiva was up 8-7, about a minute remaining in that first quarter. Again, DP going to a full-court press, and that has been the difference. One of the few shots that Wekiva was able to get off inside, but DP doing some excellent Windex work. That's one of their strengths.
Punching to the key, nothing there for White. He hits a wall and tries to pass to Kalel Jones, but just a bit outside.
So Wekiva with an opportunity to regain some momentum.
Straight down the key, Juju Johnson tries to go right down the gullet of the Panthers, but Johnson draws the foul, called against number 24. His second personal foul, the team's 9th. Johnson at the line to shoot. So Julian Anderson there picks up his second. First free throw is off the heel for Juju Johnson. And the Mustangs continue to leave points on the table.
– 30-13 score, 2 minutes, 1 second before halftime. And Johnson gets the second of those 2 free throws. Both teams in double bonus now.
Solomon Georges returns to the game for Wekiva.
And speaking of Georges, he's going one-on-one. They pass it over Georges. DP doing a nice job of getting the ball through that Wekiva defense. And Georges rips the ball down and will come back the other way.
Nice attempt in transition. Couldn't get the first one, but Aaron Preston on his own putback.
And that cuts the lead to 30-15, 1.5.
Now the Panthers trying to get something done in transition. Open man at the top of the arc. He decides not to take the trade, punches in instead. White can't get it to go, gets his own rebound. Putback's not there either, and the rebound gets tapped over to Aaron Preston. Going the other way, looking for a transition opportunity, goes to the outside corner, has an open man, and it's there. Preston to Tyler Danke for 3.
And that cuts the lead to 30-19.
Hey, Neil, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Nobody.
So Wekiva, opportunity to build some momentum heading into halftime. First they get the nice couple of possessions, turn them into points. Some hard work underneath the boards, facilitating those points, and now they get the unforced error and the ball back. This is Johnson. Goes to Georges on the right wing, down to the right corner, Danke. And DP, though, again, tough defense to operate against. And mentioned it before, Mark, but of course, Dr. Phillips, the varsity team, a perennial state championship contender, a powerhouse, and you certainly can see why they don't have a drop-off. They've been a powerhouse for 30 years now. These JV players, of course, they're the players who come up and replace the seniors who graduate.
Juju Johnson is called for traveling. Panthers ball. Obviously, there was a lot of contact there. Unfortunately for the Mustangs, Johnson walked into that contact.
And the Panthers' way, the DP way, starts with defense.
Georges trying to get in there. Unable to do so. To the paint. Ball is not there for Smith.
Preston at the other end leading the charge. Tries to go with the bank and was unable to get the leaning shot.
Now McDonald gets the rebound going the other way in transition. It looks like we're going to get a foul on the floor. It doesn't matter. It's going to be 2-shot bonus no matter what. Foul is called against Mustangs number 3, Juju Johnson. His 4th personal foul, the team's 10th, and that will put the Panthers into double bonus. At the line, shooting 2, number 24, Julian Anderson.
A 30-19 lead for Dr. Phillips. They were down 9-8 about a minute before end of the first quarter. They went to a full court press, cutting off that left side of the court, and since then it's been all DP. DP scored 6 consecutive points and 9 of 12. And here you're seeing again how dangerous that press is. Wekiva able to get the shot off, and skying for the rebound is Anderson. Back the other way, 17 seconds before halftime.
And the pass to the official is out of bounds and would be a violation in any case. Full court pressure coming on by the Panthers once again. We've seen how effective that's been for them this game, but it does leave an opportunity open, but the Mustangs not able to cash in. There's putback.
And that will bring the first half to an end. Wekiva gets the last answer, but since DP went to that full court press about a minute before the end of the first quarter, they have controlled this game with an authoritative performance.
That takes us to halftime, and it's a 10-point ball game. 31-21 is your score at intermission here in the JV contest. We'll be back with more from Mustang Arena at the conclusion of halftime And then don't forget varsity coming up later, which is on its own separate live stream. We hope you will stay with us for that as well. But back in about 9 minutes and change here at Mustang Arena. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Panthers have the opening possession of the third period. And so far in the JV contest, it's been a game of momentum shifts. Wekiva started out with the momentum, then Dr. Phillips went on a tear. Wekiva cut it back to one possession by the end of the first quarter. Then DP went on a run, and now finally Wekiva managed to stop the bleeding as we got toward the end of the second period, but they still trail by 10 as we get ready to open up the second half here in the JV contest. This is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva, joined by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. We'll be taking you through the next 16 minutes of this game and then all 32 of the next one.
Yeah, Wekiva with the 9-8 lead, about a minute remaining in the first quarter. A 9-3 run for DP, and they steadily built the lead. And the difference was DP went to a full court press, cutting off that left side of the court. So 31-21, 30 seconds into the second half.
And I'll tell you what, Neil, you mentioned the full court pressure. That's something that Wekiva really didn't have an answer for most of the second period.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers.
Finally, when we got toward, as we get a first points of the second half scored by DJ Joyner. As we got to the very end of the second quarter, the Mustangs finally started to adapt to that full court pressure and found some transition opportunities that were open as DJ Joyner is called on his first personal foul, also the first of this half for the Mustangs, and it will send Caden White to the line shooting 2. Now, so, of course, Neil, the risk-reward that you take when you run that high-intensity full-court pressure defense is that you leave transition scoring opportunities open if it fails. If it succeeds, you end up with a lot more turnovers, and that's what happened early to mid-second quarter. If it doesn't succeed, though, you open up transition basket opportunities, and that's where Wekiva was finally able to eat into that lead a little bit more toward the end of the second period. But again, it so far has not been enough to change the lead, and now for the second time this game, Wekiva is called with an inbounding violation, Panthers ball. So that's been another key of the first half that has gone against Wekiva, not just the intense pressure being put on by DP that's been forcing some errors, but also the unforced errors affecting Wekiva a little bit more, I would say, than they have been affecting the Panthers as we get a push called against Mustangs number 4, Aaron Preston, his third and the team's second.
And you just heard Mark address that was Preston's third foul. He's the only player with 3 fouls. The spin.
Well, except for the one with 4. That's, that's number 10, DJ Joyner. No, sorry, that's his points. It is, I know we have somebody with 4 fouls in the books. There it is. It's Juju.
Okay. And talking about turnovers, Mark just spent 30 seconds or so, and they now continue. Wekiva turning the ball over again. And this really, DP has not come out with that full court defensive pressure. Skying at the other end and clearing the ball is Walker. He'll try to take it himself and ran into a guy named Caden White, swipes the ball, a couple passes, and down at the other end, making the withdrawal,
Julian Anderson.
And that opens up a 34-23 lead. Not quite the largest of the game for DP. They did have a 12-point lead in the first half. Cross the paint pass to Donkey. Tries to go up to Preston. Preston able to bring the ball back under control. And ball will remain with Wekiva. 2 minutes into the second half. DP going to a full court press about a minute before the end of the first quarter. And that has been the story. Wekiva unable to handle it for most of the second quarter. And DP turned them into numerous points.
Daniel Longchamp checks into the game for Wekiva.
Georges with the ball at the top on the left wing. Stop, pop, no drop. And grabbing the ball out of a host of players is Smith down at the other end in the foul. The attack, the slash, the dash, and the foul resulting.
Solomon Georges is called on his second personal foul, the team's third.
And Coach Hardy calls Georges over right away and gives him some instruction. Off the rim, meanwhile, that was Anderson, and now Wekiva try to cut into that 11-point lead. Right corner, stop a couple of times, and short. That was Longchamp, back the other way. 5.5 remaining in the third quarter from the left corner. And picking up the loose ball, Georges, right place, right time. Unfortunately,
speaking of right place, right time, Caden White steals the layup for the Panthers.
And that's 17 now for White, his first deuce of the second half. And, again, it's not just the fact that Dr. Phillips scores those 2 points. It's the fact that Wekiva doesn't get an opportunity to take a field goal attempt. Now Georges draws the foul.
Foul called against Caden White. His first personal foul, the team's first of this half. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 24, Demir Simon.
Preston inbounds the ball to Georges. Varsity action, the defending Class 7A state champions. Dr. Phillips will take on Wekiva, the host school, for tonight's game. Dan Key unable to get any drive after the first 3.
Held ball. Possession Mustangs.
So Georges will inbound the ball along the left corner. Preston receives, comes to the top of the key, 4:40 before the end of the third quarter. Back to Georges. Preston on the right wing. 2-man game. And now back out to Georges. Looked like he was going to take a shot, but no. That's Simon back to Georges as we approach 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Great defense by Dr. Phillips. They're no longer going with that full court press. Ran it for the entire second quarter plus about a minute. They're in a 2-3 zone now. Georges launches way off, connected on the backboard, but no rim. And DP off to the races. Their transition, their bread and butter. Unable to drop the deuce.
Yeah, good work there by Smith. I mean, he was outnumbered 3-1, still almost got the rebound.
That certainly had a nice touch. Preston in the corner. Now up to Georges. Wekiva swinging it to the left corner. Again, connects with the backboard. Just grazed it, but not able to connect with the rim. Simon launching the tray. Wekiva catches a break. They'll keep possession of the ball. Georges inbounding. And intercepted.
Picked off by Khalil Jones and immediately turned back over to DJ Joyner. So one good turnover deserves another. Mustangs go to work on the half-court set.
Rotating on that perimeter, looking for the open shot. Give DP credit, like you mentioned before, 2-3 zone. They've gone to several different defenses.
Offensive charge is called against DJ Joyner, taken by Caden White. It's Joyner's second personal foul, the team's fourth of this half. Returning to the game for the Mustangs is number 3. That's Juju Johnson. So I mentioned a minute ago, Johnson has 4 personal fouls, and so he is at risk of fouling out, but Coach Hardy has decided it's worth the risk to get him back in the game. Somebody's about to pick up a foul here. Mustang foul is called against number 24, Demir Simon, his first and the team's 5th. So Wekiva is racking up numbers on the scoreboard, just the wrong part of it.
Yeah, in high school basketball, 7 fouls, that's 1-on-1. 10 fouls is a double bonus.
So Wekiva still with one more foul to give, but we have just foul called against number 11, Khalil Jones. That's his 3rd personal foul, the Panthers' 2nd this half. And of course, if you're more familiar with NCAA or NBA ball, at the high school level, 5 personal fouls will disqualify you from the rest of the game, and those do not reset at halftime. The team fouls do reset at halftime, and as Neil mentioned a moment ago, on the 7th foul we go to 1-on-1 bonus, on the 10th foul we go to 2-shot bonus. In transition, A.J. Smith scores on the Panther layup.
And DP with its largest lead of the game now. So now they go back to that press. And Wekiva breaks it and going with
Transition
draw.
layup by DJ Joyner.
So Joyner breaking that press and a break for Wekiva. The ball came loose, an unforced error. And then they also draw the foul. While
Foul called against
transition.
Panthers number 23, A.J. Smith, his first personal foul, the team's third.
2:09 remaining in the third quarter. 38-25 lead by DP. They trailed 9-8, a minute remaining in the first quarter.
Javius Walker and Solomon Georges returned to the game for the Mustangs.
A 9-3 run put them in front, Dr. Phillips, and they have enjoyed the lead since then.
Nearly running into a backcourt violation, has to dump it off. Smith picks the pass, and the Panthers go to the half-court set. To the corner, not there. The tray will not fall for White, up in the air for rebound, and it comes down to Walker. He's going to try to go all the way in transition, and he does. Javius Walker, coast to coast for 2.
10 points for Walker now, and that cuts the lead back to 11. So Wekiva was facing its largest deficit of the game about 45 seconds ago at 15, and they do make some inroads. The next stage, or the next goal, is to get that lead down to single digits.
30-second timeout requested by the Panthers.
The lead now 38-27, 1:36 remaining in the third quarter. JV action, Dr. Phillips with the lead over Wekiva from Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher to take you through the last 96 seconds of the third quarter here before we get into the fourth. And nearly all ball by Demir Simon, but not quite. Mustang foul is called on Demir Simon, his second personal, the team's sixth. And that will send Kalel Jones to the line, shooting 2 for the Panthers.
And certainly thought that was a clean block, looked clean, but obviously we are not the refs and we are not trained to officiate a game, Mark. So the referee saw something that we did not. And
everybody thinks that the score table is the best seats in the house. That's not always true. We get a lot of coaches and officials standing in front of us.
And another foul as
violation is called against the Mustangs. That will negate the most recent free throw. One more shot coming to Jones.
So at the line is Jones, and he can't drop that.
It was almost an instant replay of the previous shot, except it was clean this time. Held ball, possession Panthers.
And again, Mark, you talked about how DP has this line of succession. If you don't follow high school basketball, DP, perennial state power. They're the defending 6A, 7A state champions. But one of the things that has impressed me tonight, not just their skill and not just these JV players learning the DP way, but just they get to those loose balls. There's another example. They hustle after those loose balls. Very few of them have gone Wekiva's way, and they drain the ring.
Kalel Jones to
White.
Caden White for 3. That's 20 points in the books for Caden White. You don't see that very often at the JV level, certainly not by the end of the third quarter. Trey is going to be a little short for Demir Simon, and the rebound to White gets quickly passed to Smith, who has a transition opportunity, cannot convert, but A.J. Smith draws the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Panthers. Mustang foul is called against number 24, Demir Simon. That's his third personal foul, and the team's 7th. So that was the last foul the Mustangs had to give. We're going to shoot bonus the entirety of the fourth quarter on Dr. Phillips' side. And some personnel changes on both sides coming in.
Yeah, Dr. Phillips has committed only 3 fouls. So both these teams, not a lot of games up to this point. 1-0 for Dr. Phillips, 2-0 for Wekiva. And
this is the line, but more Windex work, as you say, Neil. A.J. Smith on the rebound, and Dr. Phillips has definitely, I haven't been keeping stats, but they have definitely been winning the rebounding game.
Yeah, well, they've pretty much won every stat, but again, that goes back to the fact, like I said, they have the skill, they have the talent, they're good cohesion, but really, underneath all that is they just get to those loose balls. They're very alert, they're awake, they get that first step, and they have a plan and an intention when they take that first step. Blocked. That was Johnson with the shot and the block.
Smith comes up with the rebound and the block. He'll go the other way. Open three for McDonald, and it's there. Shug McDonald from A.J. Smith for three. On the other way, the tray not so lucky for Johnson, and that takes us to the end of the third period. Panthers outscoring the Mustangs 14-6 in that 8 minutes. And it takes us to a 45-27 ball game going into the final quarter here in the JV contest. Back with the last 8 minutes from Mustang Arena when we come back. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the fourth quarter. And so far, it has been almost a clinic by Dr. Phillips. They've had relatively few errors in their game so far. It looks exactly like what you would expect out of a high-performing JV team. And Wekiva just didn't bother to come out of the huddle. They're going to get called for 5 here. Barely avoiding the call, as Coach Hardy lost track of time during the break, and so Wekiva narrowly avoids the turnover there.
DP with the 45-27 lead, and score the
Aaron
bank.
Preston to DJ Joyner, and one. Foul called against number 22, Tyler Timberlake. That's his second personal foul, the team's fourth. So that went a lot better than it could have, given the fact that Wekiva rushed that play.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Mark, relatively few errors by DP. There was one of the few, losing some mental focus. Still, though, a 45-30 lead for DP. That 17-point lead was the largest of the game for DP. And now another mental error, the turnover. And so Wekiva with an opportunity, some of their own doing. Some DP's doing self-inflicted wounds to cut into that lead, and DP answers. They shake it off, come back the other way, doing the Windex work and the withdrawal.
McDonald on the second chance basket.
So 47-30, and at the other end, the withdrawal from Preston.
Aaron Preston adds 2 for the Mustangs.
Cuts the lead to 47-32. Tip by Preston. And Georges will pick up the loose ball and draw the foul. That's
foul called against number 21, Shug McDonald, his first personal foul, the team's fifth. So, Neil, sometimes I wonder if the players can hear us talking over here, because just as I was complimenting Dr. Phillips on running a not flawless but near flawless game without really any mental errors, they go and make 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, unfortunately for Wekiva, though, they have not been able to really take full advantage. Lead remains at 15, and that does not count. Stepping out of bounds. Actually, it was a foul.
Offensive elbow is called against Javius Walker. That's his second personal foul. The team's 8th. No bonus shots for offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Panthers. DJ Joyner checks back in for Wekiva.
Meanwhile, DP looking to increase that lead, and success, going withdrawal.
McDonald
Smith.
to Timberlake.
So that ups the lead to 17, the largest of the game for DP. 6:45.
And a risky pass is easily intercepted by Butler. Transition opportunity. There it is. Butler to White on the DP layup.
And Coach Hardy.
Mustangs.
Yeah, Coach Hardy immediately jumped up and said, Mr. Ref, please give me a timeout. So 51-32, DP has been in the lead since about a minute before the second quarter. They've continued to extend that lead, now at its largest of 19, 6.5 remaining for Mustang Arena. And Mustang Arena, the site, JV action on a Wednesday night. Thank you for joining us. The home team, Wekiva, running into a buzzsaw perennial state championship team that's 51-32, trailing against Dr. Phillips. And, of course, obviously, junior varsity doesn't play for a state championship. But I say the perennial state championship because these players go up to that varsity level and they continue already showing the prowess to play at that varsity level.
Yeah, and certainly I think we're going to see more of that when we get into the headliner game at 7 o'clock. And, I mean, Neil, it's hard to imagine with just a couple of exceptions, maybe not, Horizon, but you've got OCP, you've got Dr. Phillips, you've got Windermere, as we get a putback by Javius Walker. It's hard to imagine a much more challenging opening couple of weeks to the regular season than what Wekiva has stacked up for themselves.
And meanwhile, the floater from
Javius Walker steals another layup.
Yeah, so all those teams, this will be the fourth game for the varsity team. Lake Buena Vista, of course, in its first season as the slash and dash, and he avoids contact. White with 22 now.
24, that makes
24, excuse me. Lake Buena Vista, of course, in its opening season, but the three other teams all ranked inside, not just ranked, but top 10 teams statewide, as George is unable to drop the tray, but doing Windex work twice.
Javius Walker fouled on the putback. He'll go to the line and shoot two for the Mustangs. The Panthers foul is called against number 22, Tyler Taylor-Lake. That's his third personal, the team's sixth. So that'll be the last free foul. Well, with this shooting foul anyway, we're going to shoot bonus both ways for the rest of the ball game after this. Neither team with any more fouls to give.
And speaking of ranked teams, of course, Wekiva's, Mark mentioned, opened against Orlando Christian Prep. That was part of the Metro versus Florida challenge. They then took on Windermere. And now, of course, they'll take on Dr. Phillips. That'll start about 15 minutes after the end of the JV game. As we come back the other way, 5 minutes remaining. Down into the corner, back to the left wing. White looking for more points and drains the rain.
Caden White for three. 27 in the books for him now, and we still have 5 minutes left.
But Dr. Phillips began the season ranked number 1 in Class 7A statewide.
Prior to the contact, traveling called on the Mustangs, Panthers ball.
So Dr. Phillips, the number 1 ranked team in Class 7A to start the season. Of course, they had that dramatic loss to Lake Highland Prep at the Metro versus Florida Challenge, a great game. But they've won 2 games since then, a 2-1 record. The charge.
No, they're going to call it a block.
Okay.
Foul called against Mustangs number 0, Tyler Danke. That's his first and the team's 9th. That will send the Panthers to the line. A.J. Smith shooting 2. So again, Neil, the officials are standing right there next to it. You and I are over here 60 feet away. So, of course, the key there is whether or not Danke was able to establish his position and stay still. And the official's judgment was that he was not. So the foul was against him rather than against Smith on the charge. And Smith hits his first.
6 points for Smith, ups the lead to 57-37.
As you were starting to say a moment ago, Neil, though, 3 out of 4 of the Mustangs' opening regular season opponents have some form of accolade next to their name in the record books, whether that's a back-to-back state champion or at least a finalist contender, as we get a basket by A.J. Smith with the chance to make it a three-point play. The foul called against Mustangs number 1, Solomon Georges, his third and the team's 10th. So again, as we were mentioning, either state champion or state finalist or 20-win seasons for the last God knows how many. 20-plus years. I think DP has only had one season that wasn't 20-plus wins since Coach Long was in charge for all those years. And now Walker is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against A.J. Smith, his second and the team's 7th. And then, of course, Windermere under Mark Gryzik, who is known as a program builder across Central Florida. He's done it with Olympia now. He's done it at Windermere and turned them almost overnight into a state contender.
Yeah, and when we talk about Coach Gryzik, let's not forget his time at PK Yonge. Obviously, it was a program. Yonge is actually one of the oldest schools in the state of Florida. I believe they're over 100 years old. But he took a team that was at best mediocre and took them to 2 state championship finals. So he didn't start it from scratch per se, but he's taken 3 teams from up to the highest to the state championship final.
Caden White for 3 from Jones. And that gives him 30. That puts him into the 2-digit mark 3 times over.
And so since we've gotten on this discussion, Mark, let's also bring up OCP, Orlando Christian Prep. To be honest, as impressive as Windermere and DP is, OCP blows them away when it comes to those credentials. 9 state championships, 11 state final appearances since 2008, 4 of the last 5 state championships.
Oh, yeah, Coach Burke runs a very impressive program over there at OCP, and certainly as we get a 3 for A.J. Smith, certainly OCP is among the strongest, along with LHP, of the non-metro programs that we have here in Orange County. Foul is called against Mustangs. Against DP number 11, Khalil Jones. His 4th personal foul, the team's 8th. And that will put the Mustangs into bonus. At the line shooting 1-on-1 is Javius Walker.
Yeah, and so the reason that we brought up those 3 teams and their credentials before that free throw is just simply the fact that Wekiva has perhaps the toughest schedule as far as the first 4 games.
Well, now that's not to be outdone. You also mentioned DP's encounter at the Metro versus Florida Challenge with Lake Highland Prep.
Yes,
that was probably one.
About that,
yeah, that was probably one of the signature games, if not the signature game of the entire Metro versus Florida Challenge. I mean, it was just fireworks the entire game, and of course. Help me with his name.
Sensabaugh.
Bryce Sensabaugh.
The Ohio State commit.
Yeah, who put up 39 points, which is the 3rd highest of all time for the 11-year history of that event. And not to mention, not just that he came up with 39, but he had that heartbreaking dagger to the Panthers that was the game-winning 3 that put them up by 1 and gave them the win. So DP definitely felt the sting on that one, but they played brilliantly. I mean, you can't take anything away from them. Somebody was going to come up with an L in that game, but there is no shame in the way DP played that entire game.
Yeah, certainly. We talked about it. We were the broadcast team for the Florida versus Metro versus Florida Challenge as we get a turnover and Wekiva will take possession with 3 minutes remaining. But when Coach Williams put that matchup and he put the schedule out, that was certainly the first among equals in terms of the attention. And the game, like you mentioned, Mark, from start to finish, lived up to the hype and the promise.
Basket by Shug McDonald. Yeah, I heard Scott Williams, the event director, compare that game on Twitter to the Winter Park Montverde game all the way back from when the event was held at Wekiva, as we get a transition basket by Emmanuel Longchamp. And that was really, that Montford Winter Park game was really the game that put the Metro versus Florida Challenge on the map as an elite level event over Thanksgiving. And certainly if you had questioned, as we get a 3 for Caden White, that gives him 33 points on the night. If you had any doubt that the Metro versus Florida Challenge was still at that caliber, those doubts were put to rest when you saw that DP-LHP game, as we get a foul called against Shug McDonald. That's his second personal and the team's 9th. The Mustangs will continue into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1 for Wekiva. Well, who knows? There we go. Juju Johnson.
Yeah, and by the way, Mark, since we've been talking about DP, if you just joined us, DP, this is junior varsity action. They are in the blue jerseys. They have a 71-42 lead, 2 minutes remaining. Varsity action will come next. They are, by the way, Mark, also the defending state champions, Class 7A.
Yeah, so that
Finally taking home that championship after making multiple trips to the state Final Four.
I know, yeah, DP definitely was feeling that always the bridesmaid, never the bride moment. I mean, Coach Long took them to countless Elite Eight and Final Four appearances, and now finally they were able to close the deal last season. They have been a team that has always been in the conversation when you think about potential state championships, but I can speak from personal experience, having joined the girls on their trip to Lakeland for Wekiva, and the boys when they had, several seasons ago with Paul Reed, there is nothing quite like actually taking home the prize.
So, and also, Mark, just want to point up, the basketball program has
foul called against number 23, Janias Walker, his third. No bonus shots for offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Panthers.
The football program at DP actually has a similar history to the basketball program in the sense that they went to multiple state Final Fours. As the withdrawal from
Juju Johnson down the baseline for 2.
Multiple state Final Four appearances in the championship finals, and they never won it until 2000. I believe it was 2017. Again, double digits if you want to count up all the times they've gone to at least the Final Four.
Golden opportunity for Janias Walker down there, just not able to roll it in. And just off the mark on the tray for Samuel Yang, who's now getting some minutes in this game as the outcome appears secure for DP. We'll take the tray from Simon. That's not going to go. The rebound to Butler. And again, we're seeing some minutes for some players that we hadn't seen a lot from earlier in this contest. The tray is too hot from Gene. Rebound to Welch. We go the other way. Simon has a transition opportunity, and it goes.
Makes the withdrawal.
Demir Simon, and 1.
So 45 seconds remaining. DP will have this game a victory well in hand.
And correction, that was an offensive charge called against Demir Simon, his 4th personal foul. No bonus shots for offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to DP. So never mind, that looked like it was going to be something excellent to end the game on, even though the Mustangs may not pull home the W. They would like to end on a high note as we get a basket by the Panthers.
So the story of this game really, Mark, was the full court press employed by DP as we get the block and we'll come the other way. And that went into effect with about a minute remaining in the first quarter. Wekiva was actually up 9-8 at that point as the ball goes out of bounds. They then scored 6 consecutive in 15 of the next 19 to put them well ahead. And again, that press was nasty, nasty stuff, cutting off the team from the left side of the court. And pretty much since then, it's been all DP, a commanding and authoritative performance. And once again, as we come down to the buzzard here, score.
Basket by Tyler Danke. That will be the last word of the JV contest.
Certainly, you can understand after watching this performance by the junior varsity team why the varsity team is a perennial state championship contender. The line of succession, these JV players step in without a loss of quality when those seniors graduate. that'll do it from here. Take us home, Mark.
Takes us to the end of the JV contest. 73-47 is the final score. Don't go anywhere. If you are watching us live here in the arena, stay right there. We've got more basketball action coming your way in just a moment. If you're watching us on YouTube or the NFHS network, just be aware that each of our live streams is on its own separate video, so you will need to exit out of this game and then get into the varsity contest, and we will meet you there in just about 15 minutes. My thanks to Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, as well as Keith Dickerson and his entire team at Wekiva TV Broadcast Production. This has been a presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. This is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, wishing you a great night for now, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes on the varsity game.